Good night, Ralph. Good night, Sam. Ralph says, or Sam says, Ralph, you've been working really hard. Why don't you take tomorrow off? I can take care of this place from here. So Charlie goes to school. End of the day. Mrs. Gordon, you've been working really hard. Why don't you take tomorrow off? I can take care of this place from here. Oh, Charlie. Oh, thank you. He made her day. She calls me on the phone. Oh, Charlie, he just made my day. He's just so appreciative. Nobody's ever appreciated me like that before. I mean, to take the whole day off, that's so great. Yeah, it sure is. I didn't have the heart to break it to her that he's definitely showing his appreciation. He doesn't know how to say it in the way that we all would, so he's referring to his Looney Tunes vocabulary to make that understood. After that, I always knew when Charlie had shown his appreciation for someone because I would be in the school and I could see them coming down the hall like this. You'll never believe what Charlie said to me. Oh, I think I will. The poor high school counselor obviously has never been shown appreciation before. Oh my goodness, I never broke it to anybody. I'm sure by now word has spread that it's Charlie's way of showing his love. So these are just a few symptoms that my kids are dealing with in the classroom and at home, and they're not exactly the symptoms that you're dealing with your students, but I think a lot of things will relate. So my first IEP meeting and other things. Okay, keep in mind who I am. I'm educated. I speak English clearly, which is a huge benefit sometimes, and I don't think about that. The other day I had to give a talk at Head Start about dental health, and I was speaking to a mom and a dad. Their little girl had just been to our dental office on a field trip, and I'm telling them a couple of things about dental health, and the dad is conversing with me, and the mom is totally engaged, smiling and nodding, and when they left, the teacher said, the mom doesn't speak English, she doesn't understand a word you said. And I just thought, wow, she faked it the whole time. You do not want to be out of the loop. And she was willing to nod and smile and just fake her way through that. And I thought that was really significant. Internet access. I have a supportive family, lots of friends, well, until my kids had autism. Stable marriage. I've been married for 15 years, and my husband does everything I say. In the first presentation, I was saying, I can't remember what your Geek Squad's name is, but I am married to the Geek Squad. And when I walked in today, I see these two guys. I'm like, oh, Joe. That's what my husband's like. I'm Mark and Neil. Are we supposed to call them that? I'm sorry. They're awesome. And I'm gainfully employed. And so keep that in mind. And this was my first experience. I get a call. We're going to have Charlie's 2-9. We need to schedule a time for Charlie's 2-9 visit at the school. Okay. I'll be there. And I don't know what that means. I have no idea what a 2-9 is. But I need to be there, obviously, so I will. It turns out it does not mean February 9th at all. I went through the whole meeting, still didn't know what a 2-9 was. Went home, didn't know what a 2-9 was. It was quite a while, and then I realized, does anybody else not know what a 2-9 is? Losers. It is, when your child enters the school district, a lot of people think it's age 5, but it's age 3. If your child has special needs, they enter the school, they become your problem at age 3. We want to have an introduction before they turn 3. So we have a meeting at 2 years, 9 months old. That's what that means. And I think this is a good example. I have a lot of examples, things that have been said to me by education people that made no sense to me, and I faked my way through it, kind of like the mom who didn't speak English. I don't want to look stupid. I want to look, this is my kid we're talking about. I want people to think I'm smart, and I want them to think I know what we're talking about here. So this is just one thing of many. So keep that in mind when you're talking to parents. Educators are kind of like you're in your little kingdom here. And there's a moat around the school building. And people don't cross it unless, you know, Mr. Olson gives them the blessing or something. And even when we come to your kingdom, we don't speak your language. And it's like that for a lot of other professions. I know that. But keep in mind, we don't speak your language, so you'll need to change your language a little bit when you're speaking to us. This is a new crowd for me, my first IEP meeting. It's in the special education preschool. I didn't even know this place existed. When your kid turns 3, you don't have this vision of, oh, and then we'll go to the special education department. People don't envision that. Everyone knows each other, except me. Some of these people have been working together for years. They have intimate knowledge of each other. Oh, and then they come in. Oh, and then Sarah's getting married next week, and we're going to pick out her dress. And, oh, yeah, it's hilarious. I'm sitting there with a kid who might not get married, ever. I hate you. And I hope Sarah looks like crap on her wedding day. That's what I'm thinking. The blue book, in my state we have the blue book. It's the parents' rights. So now I'm in this unfamiliar place, and you've just given me my rights. Then there's the principal. I might divulge a little bit of the kind of kid I was in high school, but when the principal showed up, that was a pretty big deal. So now I'm in this meeting, and the principal's there. I've been given my rights. Lots of signatures are needed. You need my correct address, all these things. And I don't have any idea of the legality of the documents in front of me, that it's really this is a worldwide thing, or a national thing. This is federal law that we're dealing with, and we're dealing with my kid. And I had 2 kids on an IEP. I still thought this was a parent-teacher conference or something. I thought, well, that's sure nice that they're having me come up here. I really didn't know what it was. I had no idea that I'd be attending so many of these meetings. And you can't pick your relatives, and you can't pick your kid's case manager or the principal or the teacher and all those things either. I'm kind of stuck with you people. I wouldn't have picked you. When I got married and had a family and got my dog, you weren't in that picture. I wanted to raise my kid by myself. I wanted to do this. I hate that I need you to make this all happen. The bright side, sometimes those relatives, they turn out to be a pretty good time. And we've made a lot of connections with people I would have never come across had I not had kids needing special education. Even if at first they seem like they don't really have a lot to offer, often they're a bridge to something even better. And we've made a lot of connections that we otherwise never would have. The IEP meeting is very intimidating. I wish they served alcohol at IEP meetings. So do you, apparently. The last school district I talked at, the principal stood up and talked about how they wanted to increase attendance at parent-teacher conferences. I'm like, booze, baby. That'll get us there. So sometimes there's more than 7 coworkers in this meeting, and I've been at IEP meetings with 10 to 12 coworkers, educators, and me. It's intimidating. Ask any coach, they'll tell you there is such a thing as home court advantage. The parent never has that. We never have that. It's your home court. You live here practically. The language that you're using, we talked a little bit about this. And then we have ESP, and that's run sometimes at the same time as ESY, but they're 2 whole different things. They're totally different, but they run at the same time, and then we'll have to talk about that and whether your son qualifies for ESP and ESY, or both of them, or just one, and on and on. And it's exhausting. And we have an IEP. Everyone now knows what AYP is. OT, PT, RTI, and that wasn't good enough, so now we have RTIB. Do you have RTI here? Same thing, called same thing? Which I've loved as a parent. I love RTIB. Were you guys using the dunce hat before that came about? And then drafts and final copies. So this is serious business. So keeping in mind who I am, and that is my first experience, it wasn't really that positive. It wasn't really that productive. What about the parent who has some disadvantages? I have a husband who's really engaged in our kids' lives. Not everybody has a spouse that can back them up. What about the dad who's heading to work? All of a sudden, their kid has a major meltdown. They don't know why. We need to get to work. Everybody needs to go to school. Finally, the dad realizes it's a rough tag on the back of the jeans. Now we got to cut the tag out or get new jeans. Jeans are all dirty. Cut the tag out, okay. Get in the car. Everybody's a little bit late for school. He's a little bit late for work again, because this is his life. When you live with autism, it's always something like that. The mittens are too scratchy. The egg touched the cereal, and it is a disaster every time that happened. The whole family walks on eggshells all the time to avoid a meltdown. So the dad walks into work. He's late again. Oh, what happened? Is he going to say, a tag? Nobody gets us. Nobody understands what it's like to live with these little things that can ruin a whole day. So for some parents, it's really difficult to get to an IEP meeting, to be involved in their kids' education, for lots of reasons. This is very personal. You have to take care of our kids all day. You need to know all the details about them in order to do a good job of that. You know details I don't even tell my parents. I don't tell my friends. I just don't want other people to know. But you know those intimate details about my family that I really wouldn't want you to know if I just knew you on the street. Once in a while, I'd really like to know the intimate details about you. And that you got dumped when you were in high school because you picked your nose on your prom date or whatever it is. I would love to know those things. Something intimate. So what about the times when everything starts going downhill? Things are going bad. What happened? Why did that happen? I thought we were all happy. We signed this IEP document. Everybody agreed. We're all happy. I thought everything was good. Usually, I've contacted 2 people about this. Why do parents come to you? What brings them to you? And both people said the same thing, that deal with special education law. Usually it boils down to a single incident that just made the parent lose trust, nobody would fess up to it, and it snowballed. So I'll give you an example. We have an IEP meeting, and we talk about social skill goals, speech and language goals, and we're going to work on those all the time with a significant focus on recess. In fact, the SLP, the speech language pathologist, is going to be at recess. And she's going to work on language goals with peers. And it sounds great. Yeah, we're all for it. So this is going fine. Charlie forgot his lunch. I'm going to take his lunch to school. Nobody's in the classroom. Oh, they're all out at recess. So I take a peek at recess. Charlie's laying in the sandbox with his head in the sand, watching sand pour from one hand down to the pile of sand, and eating sand with the other. Staff is all huddled across the playground. Nobody's paying attention to him. He's not talking. And that is really making me sad to see him like that. When we have all these people, we're all going to work on this. So I go back to work, because I'm just dropping off his lunch. I go back to work, and I have a patient. I got to clean their teeth. Lucky him. So I call the case manager. Okay, here's what happened. And, that's not what we said we were going to do. And she says, okay, well, let me ask about it. Let me ask around about it and find out what happened. And I thought, okay, I just told you what happened. And you don't seem like you care. So I hung up, and I get a call about 24 hours later. That's a long time. That's a long time. Well, I talked to the staff, and it turns out they had already worked on their goals. They were done. So now we're going to talk about Grey's Anatomy over by the fence and smoke. Just kidding. So I asked the teacher, here's what I saw. This is really bothering me. Oh, yeah, I didn't have recess that day. And I'm sure she's thinking, thank God. And it just, now I don't trust anybody. So it's often something small. I thought they cared. I trusted everybody. Now I don't really trust them anymore. And how are you going to get that trust back? If